ladies. All right, I decided to do a second piece to this because I really didn't get to go into specifics about what he said about me. I just kind of went with general and things he had to say. But some general things are, you know, he's honest and told me things I may not like to hear. Because they completely removed my tube, the reality of the situation is my ovary's probably necrotic. There's no blood flow to it. So the reality of the situation is it probably doesn't work. He goes, it's just like anything else. You cut off the blood supply to it. It's not going to work, which I have done my own research online and I've talked to a lot of people and it's true. You know, they always tell you, oh, you only have one tube, but that's okay. You can pick up no matter what ovary it's doing. The reality of the situation is when you had a rupture like I did and the entire tube removed, the reality of the situation is there's no blood to it, flowing to it. And so the reality is it's not probably working or going to work like it should. So I'm really only working on one ovary and one tube. And he goes, a lot of people that have had this situation go straight to IVF because it's too much risk for their body. The current tube I already has had an ectopic in it. So there's the reality of the situation that we could, when we're doing this and we're having the genetic testing and we're having some tests done, that we'll have him and we'll have possible embryos in our back pocket to use, you know, should anything happen to the other tube. I'm just nervous that, you know, having two ovaries with no tubes at all, you know, no blood flow to them could really decrease our fertility. And so we might freeze some embryos. We're going to meet with them and discuss different things. He also said that PCOS is not as bad as people make it. It's actually hyperfertility if you can fix the problem. For example, women with PCOS research shows that they're born with more eggs than most women, and they go into menopause much later than most women. So if you can get the FSH levels responding appropriately, you normally get hyperfertility, which is true. We got the FSH levels in my body regulated, and within 60 days, each and every time I was pregnant. And that's awesome fertility. That's better than most people do unmedicated. So that made me feel good. That there is no cure for PCOS. It's just getting the FSH levels back up. He helped eliminate a lot of common misconceptions that if you lose weight, the PCOS will resolve. There's many skinny women with PCOS, and I got my PCOS when I was skinny. So he goes, there's just so many misconceptions that are out there, and it's sad. So I got a lot of questions answered, a lot of things answered. His also belief is that IUIs are a lot of a crock of shit, as he calls it. Because what you're doing is you're washing the sperm and you're putting sperm that look physically normal up in there. When the reality of the situation is having sex does the exact same thing. And if they're bad sperm and there's sperm that aren't shaped correctly, they won't penetrate the egg anyways. And so it makes logical sense. He said there's obviously cases where he does do them, but he believes he's one of the clinics that has the least amount of IUIs because he believes is a tool that doctors are using to actually take money from people. That you can achieve similar results with sex anyways. And so there was a lot of things that he had scientific research that he uses to back up things. These are not things that he makes up. But our society is into the quick fix-all, makes us feel better. And there are a lot of ladies I know that the IUIs have worked for them. So yes, it helps, but it does kind of make sense that you're not looking into the DNA of the sperm at all. You're looking at whether they swim and whether they can penetrate an egg to determine, you know, whether they're going to take in an egg, when the reality of the situation is it could take, but it could result in miscarriage if you don't figure out that the DNA and everything is okay, because he has a lot of bad things that in the sense that come across as if you miscarry, you were meant to miscarry. Like there's a problem. There was a problem that needed to go away. And a lot of people don't like to hear that because, I mean, it's our baby and we love our babies. But the reality of the situation is there was a problem and your body was doing as it should. And progesterone prevents what should happen sometimes on its own. It can prolong something that isn't good. So there are benefits and negatives to a lot of the things that are commonly done a lot that he tries to eliminate. You know, do blood tests. Do you need progesterone or you do not? If you do, take it. If you don't, it's like aspirin. Don't take it if you don't need it. Because the reality of the situation is you could be like me and have a tubal and possibly bleed to death because you've been on all these thinners that you didn't need. And he's right on about that. It's just a lot of doctors try to make their patients feel better, so they just prescribe it and they give it. And it can have really, really bad consequences. He's seen it firsthand. So, yeah. So I guess we're going to determine whether the genetics and everything is clear and okay for us, you know, before we put everything into a cerclage, because a cerclage is just going to hold a bad pregnancy in if it isn't meant to be there. And so he'll be able to determine those things for us. I highly doubt there's anything genetic that's going on or any clotting disorders that are going on. But the reality of the situation is we've been through enough already to just push it off and not do it. So yeah, it's interesting. I just wish it was easy. It's easy for so many people. It's like, oops, I'm pregnant. And yeah, I'm grateful for my husband, and I'm grateful for my family, and I'm grateful for my friends, because let me tell you, it's taken a long time to get to where I'm at, to the point where I can enjoy and celebrate other people's kids and other people's pregnancies. And I don't know what exactly happened and at what point in my life it became much easier and better to handle, but I'm grateful it's there. I still have my days. I still have my hard days. I also fit in a box that a lot of doctors and people don't like, because I've had 2 tubals. I had a loss of the tube. I had a 21-week live birth and loss. I had a 16-week placental abruption, live birth and loss. I have had everything happen. And I know that some of it is probably just bad luck, and it's just things that should have happened anyways. And then there are some things like my daughter that I truly believe if I had a cerclage, she'd still be here. And the guilt that comes with that is hard. Yeah, so that's that. There are some days that I feel like I'm one step away from insanity. You know, one more ungrateful, easy pregnancy occurs around me that I'll snap. So that's just a lot of what's going on. I just want one child, one baby would be nice. And if I have one, then we'll go from there. But honestly, I don't know. I would love to have a midwife. I would love to be able to double breast pump. And I'd love to be able to squirt out a kid. Like, it was no big deal, and have all these options to me. And, you know, everyone asks, well, what's the birth plan? Like, what? Birth plan? Really? Like, I'm going to let the baby decide what the baby's doing. And I'm going to revel in every moment of it. I'm going to live every day as if it's just today. And if the baby wants to come on this day versus that day, if I have to have a C-section and I can't vaginally deliver, it makes me no less of a mom than any of y'all women that have, you know, had everything perfect happen to you. You know, it just, I feel like there is so much competition in women and moms that it's like, well, I am natural, I breastfeed, and I can vaginally deliver. I can squat in a pool in my living room and I can have a kid. So, yeah, I'm mom enough. Well, excuse me, but screw you. Just because I may have to have a C-section or I may never be able to breastfeed because of PCOS, let me tell you something. Love is not a competition, but I guarantee you we could go rounds about whether I will love them enough. So it really doesn't matter. Like, I don't remember me coming out of my mom's vagina. I don't thank her for squirting me out with drugs or no drugs. So at the end of the day, your kid isn't going to care whether they came out of your stomach, out of your vagina, out of your butt. I mean, the kid loves you and they live life the greatest, man. They live it to the fullest. They enjoy every moment. And at the end of the day, you don't sit around with your 25-year-old son discussing, you know, how their labor went and how you were able to get 20 ounces out of both your boobs. So at the end of the day, I hate the competition that occurs with it. It's like, fine, while you guys busy competing over that, I will just sit here and pray every day for a baby and buy formula. Oh my God, how horrible. I was on formula and look at me. Fine. Like, it just drives me nuts, like, for real. So, yay! There's another emotional rant for you. So, I will leave it at that, and I would just challenge you guys if you're watching this and, you know, you are one of those moms that tends to have it easy or, you know, whatever, you just shut up and enjoy your children. And if you breastfeed them, if you don't judge somebody because you don't know what's going on. And just enjoy your baby because you know what? You're going to be so busy competing with other moms and how they wear their babies, how much they feed them that, you know what? You could spend that time with your child or give the child to me while you're busy bitching at your friends over it. And we can have a play date or something. So, yeah, I will be posting probably in about a week, but that's it for that. I'm sure you guys have heard enough of my rants and raves and all of that. So, I hope all of you are well.